All right. So, let me talk about the Irishman, boy.
Right.
Ah, yes, the long-awaited um Scorsese Netflix project. Um, I know it's funny because like right after this show came out, people just making the joke like, they making the whole Marvel jokes, like, oh well, look at all this stuff you're talking about, MCU and all that kind of stuff. They even taking like screenshots from the show and kind of teasing, well, kind of poking fun at Scorsese for what he say about Marvel for MCU movies, not being art now, what I mean, not being pure cinema and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of funny, kind of in poor taste, but kind of funny, right? But anyway, so not only is this the latest film from Martin Scorsese, but it also teams. Well, he also kind of gets the band back together, basically, right? So it's Robert De Niro, it's Joe Pesci, right? Who
Yeah.
has been retired for so long. I didn't even know that he was retired, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Joe Pesci
just a
has
little
not
slight
been
little
acting
detour here. Sorry.
Joe Pesci has not been acting for a hot minute.
Yeah. He really has that, right? And then something that I learned, actually, like last week, actually, he actually has a little music career thing going on, man. He
Right.
actually does like jazz music and stuff like that. And well, I actually listened to his latest project called Still Singing. It's a really, really solid jazz album, right? But very sentimental, very old school. And it's like, well, what? I didn't know I didn't know Joe could sing like that. Like, okay. I mean, not the best singer out there. I mean, for his age, but still, is like, yeah, the man, like, real passionate about that about jazz though. So yeah, like I would say, if you're really curious to hear how Joe sings or how great of a singer he is, yeah, give that a look, man. You should enjoy it. But yeah, back to the Irishman, and also Al Pacino. Yeah, Al Pacino. I believe this is
Right.
the first Scorsese film he's ever been on. Actually,
Okay.
yeah. Like honestly, like well, how I mean, we had to wait long for this, right? But yes, finally, we got this, right? So yeah, we have these four heavyweights here of cinema in one film, and then also too, this is the most, well, actually probably the most expensive film in his filmography thus far, and then also his longest. 'Cause this thing clocks in at 209 minutes. This is exactly 3 hours and 29 minutes here, folks. Well, roughly around that time. So oh yes, and also like I say, it came out on Netflix as opposed to the movie theater there. I guess we'll talk about whether it made sense to put it out on Netflix than on the big screen, right? But Ricardo, what is The Irishman about?
Right. So the Irishman follows. Well, it's effectively based on the memoirs of Frank Sheeran.
Yes, yeah,
Uh,
Frank Sheeran, yeah,
right. And he um basically was just a fixer, right, for the mob and various members of the mob,
yeah.
and he worked for what is called them Teamsters, the Team Masters. It's basically
Teamster. Well,
right,
he eventually, okay. Well, sorry
right,
to cut you there. So he starts off pretty much doing jobs for a guy called Russell Buffalido, who is played by
right,
Joe Pesci, right?
right,
Well, a mafioso guy, right? And then
right.
eventually, well, because Russell is friends with Jimmy Hoffa, played
Right.
by Al Pacino,
No,
Frank
there all of that. I
becomes
just all of
part
that.
of the Teamsters. He becomes part of that group then.
Right, right. So it becomes, yeah, and it's heavily connected with the labor force and union leaders and that stuff that was really really powerful in the mid 20th century in the United States.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Hoffa himself was like a big powerful figure, and he well, yeah, effectively he's a fixer, and he kind of stay a fixer until the end of his life. Even though he had all this public face and public power, he was a behind the scenes fixer. And well, this is where things kind of get into conspiracy theory domain of him being involved in this big event, that big event involving JFK or maybe Bear Pigs, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the story as well, it gets into his end life and his end point of just being like really goddamn dark and depressing and like kind of amounting to zero ultimately.
Yeah, exactly.
Involving his family. He has a whole arc with his daughter. Also, it take me a hot minute to pick up his Anna Paquin.
Oh,
Uh,
really, really, really? No, I
yeah,
just noticed that face is She
Yeah.
have those eyes, or like when I notice the eyes, like yeah, that's Anna
Yeah.
Paquin though, right?
I was watching and I was like, wait, I don't know. It take me a while because I just involved with the story. I was like, oh shit, it's Anna Paquin wood.
Right.
Anyway, right. So that's the arc, and it culminates in a very very famous disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Right, that's a super famous thing. It was basically a meme when I was growing up.
Yes.
Like this, you're more likely to find things than Jimmy Hoffa's grave, and everything was about Jimmy Hoffa's grave and blah 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 blah. But this frames it. It has a very clear narrative that, according to Sheeran, that he murdered Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
Whole real history stuff. According to this guy, it gets into conspiracy theories about JFK, who actually killed JFK, and it's subsequently or ostensibly Bobby Kennedy as well. And it does this whole we shaped the United States stuff, but the way how it's framed again, it's I just gonna delve into the review for 2 seconds here. Basically it's framed as the anti-Goodfellas. Much ago that was framed as very glamorous and interesting. This is not. It's everything is just dark and just by the numbers and straightforward and just empty and dry
and meaningless actually. Just like like we not really living that glamorous life you would expect.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything is it's little subtle things there, like stuff like when it was like shaking cereal in a cup and the little things.
Yeah.
And that's the story. And I just gonna start off. Holy shit. Joe Pesci has to at least get nominated for that.
I know, right?
That's an amazing performance by him. He totally played against
easily one of the best performances he's ever given. I would say since people argue, I was gonna say my cousin Vinny, but actually since Goodfellas though. Oh, sorry. Since Casino.
No, he was totally against type though. It was completely against type. And I totally was believing this dude the entire time. I was like, and in my brain, I was like, wait, this fucking Joe Pesci acting here, dude? Like in my brain, I think, your brain is going against this idea of how Joe Pesci should be because we have a working stereotype of Joe Pesci, right?
Exactly. Which has been formed with shows like Regent Bull and Goodfellas that like he would just spaz out, he would start cussing, you will raise his voice.
This is funny to you. Who am I funny to you? How am I funny to you?
Funny how?
Thing. And no, in this is like he's like actually one of the most reasonable, rational characters, and he's gonna explain shit to you as to why you shouldn't be doing this and how and why, and everything is just straightforward by the numbers, hard calculation, tougher. I was so impressed by that. From start to finish, I was really impressed by this.
Same here. But one thing though, just touch on Joe Pesci, like you're watching it, and even like when he's quiet, when he's just looking at you or looking elsewhere, like you just feel like okay, something bad could happen. Like I just need to do whatever it is I can to kind of simmer things down. And he'll just talk to you normal. You talk to you nice and whatnot, but he'll be reasonable. He'll tell you, look, this is what's going on. This is why you're not supposed to be doing this. Just don't do this. I'm not gonna raise my voice because I'm too old for this. Clearly, you know what I mean. But I want like to just this one shot where like even like just going against like just being anti Goodfellas. You see there's a scene where you see Joe Pesci's character comes into his house, right? His wife is there with him. He has blood on his shit. He's all like normal with it, just like, and the wife knows what's going on, and she tells him, just go upstairs, take off your shirt, I'll wash it, blah blah blah. And he's just normal with it. He not like flipping out, like slashing gun over here and all that kind of stuff. He just
right. It have no. That's the thing with this movie. It have no exciting coke in your panty moments. Have none of that.
Yeah. Flush the coke down. Wait, what you flush the coke for? You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. None of that in this movie. But go on.
Right. And it just casual again. No gun in the panty moments. Nothing like that. And it was shocking to see that. It was like, wait, this just so grounded and unromantic, and I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that about the film. So the only critique of the film, I know a lot of people is complaining about the length, and so I heard one critic saying that the film should have been either been shorter or be much longer, in the sense that it could have, if you have it on Netflix, make it a miniseries of some sort.
Yeah, even
And
though I remember Martin coming out and saying, no,
right,
this can't be a series, no, folks.
right.
It had to be what it
I
is.
think I immediately knew, and I'll say no. If anything, it could be shorter because I immediately knew Martin is not the type to make a miniseries. He's not gonna do that. I don't expect him to do that. Like if he do it tomorrow and get me wrong, fine. But I don't think that's gonna happen. And I immediately, and he's not that type of filmmaker, especially in the context of all the drama and back and forth on her bubble, over the whole MCU nonsense now.
Right.
And he's gonna make a film and it's gonna be edited a certain way. Could the film have been cut a little bit? Maybe the first hour. I'd have cut maybe a good 15 to 20 minutes from that first hour. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. Well, sorry to cut you there,
right.
but reason being is just like I would admit, like I went in, I was like, all right, the gang is back. Okay, cool.
Right.
And it's not because we have to wait quite a while for Al Pacino to show up, but you just try to figure out, okay, what is the story about? And this is from
Right.
somebody who just saw the first trailer. I didn't bother to watch the second one because I want, my experience to get, I didn't want anything spoiled, basically. But yeah, I would admit, in the first act, I was just like, all right, I like it what I see here, but where are we going with this? And then it's when
Right.
Al shows up. It's like, oh, okay, this is where they're going.
That's
Okay.
the thing. I wasn't minding the first hour at all because but what I would say is that you have to know your history to enjoy it. If you're familiar with the material and the history, it's fine. I was like, oh right, he driving a truck and look, he done put in the tag so he could steal the meat. Like that whole thing with the meat was hilarious to me.
Okay.
Um, when they just clear out the meat entirely and it's like, oh, I don't know what happened. That bullshit now.
Yeah.
And when they introduced oh well, we had to talk about all the little side roles, right? All the little side people who's great in
Oh
this.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And when they introduced what do you call him
Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel,
Yes.
Ray Romano, and Bobby Cannavale. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I was so shocked to
I
see
was
him.
loving all three of them. I was loving all three of them in this show, man.
Yeah, it
Especially
was
Bobby
great.
though. Bobby was great in this.
Yeah. I was like, "Wood, like they have some great moments." But Ray Romano, I thought he was great at this.
Yes, he
He,
was. He
he
was.
was. Remember when Louis C.K. was in what movie? Louis C.K. was in, boy, that was Royal. It was American Hustle, I think. And I thought Louis C.K. was fucking terrible in that movie. He is what Louis C.K. should have been. Like
Ah,
that's how
okay.
his comedy bit role things. Don't give
Yeah.
him much line. Give it a purpose. Have a very clear purpose. Louis C.K. was terrible. Yeah, look, Louis. I like Louis. I still like Louis, but he is a terrible drama actor. At least when it comes to these kind of movies. I
Right.
thought he was terrible in American Hustle. In this, Rimoraro was great.
Yes.
Right,
Yes. He was. He
what
was.
it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I love his character too. Where it's like,
but yeah,
well, I kind of with the mob, but I kind of not with the mob. You know what I mean? A legit, but not really. You know
he's
what I
a
mean?
well, he's not he's a total. I won't say he's an outright mob lawyer, but he's a total like on the edge now. I like what
Yes.
it did. And he's basically he's a union man, and as you'll point, everything is just union man shit now. And because the opening is that opening scene with the judge and that whole case, that to me set up the story because
Mhm.
it's all about you got to understand how entrenched the union is, right?
Yes.
That's your
Yes.
point. That's your point. So and then when they introduce Hoffa, it's like, all right, this is the framing now. And so
Right.
that's why I didn't Hoffa to be introduced in the beginning. Right? Yes, they could have probably get him a little sooner, I'll admit, but I thought it was fine. I didn't have a big
Yeah.
problem with it.
Well, I would say too because I know it's a trailer for a film. I was just like,
Right.
all right, I just trust in Marty. He's not gonna let things drag too much. I'll get to that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I just trust that
Scorsese,
when Al shows up, he will show up,
right.
right? So let's rock back to
Yeah.
this. What you showed up.
And yeah, Scorsese is the kind of filmmaker I will give the benefit of the doubt to and stuff like this. And yeah, I didn't have a problem with what he did. Again, you could fight it down and say it was a little too much time. Because to me, if it's anything, I might figure out a way to shave the film down to less than 3 hours. But the mere fact it was 3.5, that's a lot of time. So you want to see, and I didn't have a problem with establishing that rule. All that was fine.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else was to say? Yeah, go ahead now.
All right. Well, if I could just get gripes out of the way, right? It's just a couple, right? I don't want to say this is something that Marty does bad or whatnot, but I felt like compared to Goodfellas, I wish that he kind of developed the female characters a little bit more. Like not
Okay.
saying that you have to stop the show and have an
Well,
extra piece of
okay.
narration. I'll just so and have
Yeah.
oh gosh, I'm forgetting the actress name who from Goodfellas, but I felt like okay, so the one woman who kinda have a part to play kind of with Frank Sheeran's story is his daughter Peggy, right? Who's played by
Right.
Anna Paquin. I felt like
Right.
okay, the few moments she was there, well yeah, basically she really does not have that much dialogue. She probably just have a line or two, and I think even Anna came out and kind of defend her performance to say like, yeah, she fine with this, she okay with that. I just find that she could have had some more lines, some more stuff to say and do
Right.
instead of just kind of
I
reacting to. And just a reaction basically is just, oh, my dad is involved in something that is morally wrong, and you know what I
right.
mean. And he's not telling us the family about it. Okay,
Right.
and
No. Okay.
how that kind
So
of affects him later on, we'll see. But
right.
still, it was just watching, being quiet, watching,
Right.
being quiet,
That's the
watching, being
thing.
quiet,
I
which I
felt.
understand. But
Yeah.
give
I felt
them
that
some
works.
either. You know what I mean?
I felt that works
I don't pack with
because to
though. Come
me,
on.
to me, it was like just the kind of whole left unsaid stuff. Now that was what made it so kind of impactful. Is like you could tell this like okay when she's a little child, it just totally traumatizing what his father do as a solution to her problems, right?
Right.
And then they had this the violence going on, and it's clearly like everybody know what the fuck going on, but they're staying quiet and they ensure, you know, it's not about you can't have an open argument, and she's not the person to have the argument because they set that up, right? She don't like Joe Pesci character.
Right.
She just like him, right? It's not about arguing or debating or it's not about that. She just don't
Yeah,
have time.
I understand. Fair enough. Because I mean, like, I'm not
Right,
expecting. Right. The actress name is Lorraine Bracco. How could I forget her? Right. I mean, Lorraine.
right.
Right. Yeah, they're expecting the moment where she's smashing dishes on the table. It's like
Right, exactly,
go back to your
exactly.
hole. Like I'm not talking
Because
about that, but just
as I
a
said,
moment
everything
where she
is
speaks
yeah,
out
as I
against
said,
what the father's doing. Just one moment.
yeah, exactly. Remember, that's the whole point. This a lot of this is the anti-Goodfellas.
Right.
So to me, and that's the thing. To me, it's much more realistic. This is how families will deal with some shit like that. They will just like
Fair
say
enough. I
nothing,
understand. I understand. Yeah. Yeah.
and then and then what happened to him? It's like yeah, they just totally walk away. Like fuck this
Right.
guy. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it is. Exactly. Because he
Yeah.
himself wasn't that. Like, he wasn't abusive, to him.
No. No.
It's
No.
just it's just a shared trauma of having to think about this reality of what a father doing. And they can't say nothing. You ain't sure if he could turn on them. I like that. I prefer it that way. So, but I understand. I can understand the complaint.
Right, right, right. And then also too just there are a few moments I would say like especially the second act and in the third where well yes things do slow down. I do like that things do slow down, but oftentimes in the pace it might just be a little off, just a little at times, right? Not too much, but just a little off where you're kind of wondering, you kind of looking at your watch like kind of wondering, okay, uh where's this going to, or where's this going to lead up to, right? That's just little minor gripes. Everything else about the show, totally loved. First
Right.
off, direction, Martin Scorsese.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in my head, I didn't want to say,
That's
okay, he could
everything.
just do this in his sleep. You know what I mean? See with the actor, I didn't want to say, oh yeah, these great actors, they could do this in their sleep, Trent. Like, but no, everybody came through. Everybody do what they're supposed to. Everybody, well, I mean, the big leaguers that basically came and just shone, Trent. They just shine. They just
Yep.
came top caliber, Trent. But Scorsese just came through, solid direction, transition. And I mean, oh yes, and all hail Thelma Shoemaker, editor,
Yes.
the day one editor of Martin Scorsese films. She just came through once again, knocked it out the park. Anyway, she just shows why she's one of the greatest, film editors of all time, in my opinion. And she just complements Martin's shots and scenes so well, in my opinion. The
Yes.
choices of music, while it's not,
Yes.
I mean, they're not on the nose, maybe like say with Goodfellas or whatnot. But yeah, the music that he chose were great. It wasn't like okay, I expected every song to be some Billboard hit, but like the music he chose was great though. Like even had a few songs I didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Some songs I had never heard of before, which I assume is from from probably from Italy or something like that. But I really was digging the soundtrack for this.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
screenplay written by Steve Zalian or Zalian, I think it is. Um,
Right.
yeah, he did the he did the script for Gangs in New York, by the way, which
Okay.
great script in my opinion. But yeah, I thought that it was tight, it was well written, and for its length though, it didn't feel like there was any fat, what I mean, in it. Like everything just felt like it just needed to be there. I mean, even the moments that kind of slowed down and kind of drag a little bit, like they were there. I also like, even though I think this might be a gripe for some people, the kind of self-indulgence of the Scorseseisms there. Like you always have moments where characters will just kind of bicker about like just little things there. So this is running gag basically with Al Pacino, who I talk about, right? You know what I mean? And him talking about, oh, I don't like when people come 10 minutes late to a meeting, right? So
Yeah, I like that. That's
yeah,
good. I was loving that back and
right,
forth.
right, right. So
But oh, we
yeah,
have to
but
talk about.
we'll talk about it. We talk about him, right? And have this scene though where Stephen Graham, right? Yes, he's in the show.
Right.
Wow, right? Who plays Tony Pro? That's his nickname, right? And he
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
up late for this meeting. It's in this real swanky kind of like hotel place, right? And he shows up like he just came back from playing golf. And he talk about,
you know.
yo, I was stuck in traffic, man. I mean, it was
Yeah,
late,
yeah.
man. It was like,
All
yo, you come
disrespect.
in like 10 minutes late now. So
Yeah.
yes, there's a back and forth between the two of them. I was loving every second of it, especially Al Pacino's performance. But I know for some people it'll be like, all right, yes, I know Scorsese love those moments. The funny how my funny moments. Whereas like they just talking. You just expecting one man to flip out and punch a guy in the face or pull out a gun there. You know what I mean? And oftentimes it don't play out like that. It's just a few moments, well, mainly involving Al Pacino's character, right, where that happens, right? But yeah, I know for some people they might be like, all right, okay, the dialogue, okay, yes, we get the 10 minutes late, all right, move on. But still, just because of how well written it was and how funny it was, and then how well acted it was, right? I was just loving those scenes, right? But let me just talk about acting for a bit. So Robert De Niro, I mean, come on, it's De Niro, right? He kills it here as Frank. What I love though, like how you say anti Goodfellas, it's just that you could tell, right? Even in the earlier moments, like the earlier years, right? He have this kind of old wedded down aspect about it, right? Even right down to where he's introduced as just this guy just driving around, with meat, right? Driving, delivering meat, there, basically, right? But like when he
Yeah.
has to do jobs, right, and he always have like the snub nose pistol with him. You just kind of roll up, shoot him out of the head. He wouldn't even run. He would just kind of walk
No, no.
fast and
Yeah,
jump
it
into
just
the car. And
that,
it's just like
that's what
it.
because
Yeah.
they
Sorry.
they had a whole like just grounded practical logic as to why he picks the gun he picks. It's a basically a 32. Um,
Yeah. And I love
and
that though, and it makes it even more realistic. It's not like, oh well, you got a man down and you're running and you're laughing, ha ha ha. The cops are following
nah,
us.
no.
Like no,
Yeah,
no, no.
it's just
Because
a
the
straight up. Yeah, it's just a 32 snub nose. You say the logic was you don't pick something too silent, you don't use silencers, and you just do just enough to make enough noise to shock everybody involved, so they can react in time and they can get a
yes.
good bag on your face, and then not too loud so police could hear you from a distance or something like that.
Right.
Like too loud,
And
not too soft, just enough.
yeah, and the subject of that though, I was loving his narration though. It reminded me a lot
Yeah,
of, well, yeah, really with the stuff in Goodfellas, right? But I love
right.
how, like, he doesn't say like, yeah, we get away with that, man. You know what I mean? It
No,
was
no, no.
how it was. That's like Goodfellas. Here's like, yeah, well, this is what we did. This I kind of tell you how we do it. I'm not
Right.
really
Yeah.
glamorizing it at all, but this is just how we do it, right? Love that.
Yeah.
Totally love that, right? Um, even have like callbacks, just little visual cues to like to previous Scorsese films. Like you have Raging Bull, right? The moment where you have this guy who's having his birthday party basically at this club, and there's like some tension building, like, oh, you know what I mean, like you're breaking my balls, that kind of stuff. There you have that moment.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
have a little Goodfellas moment, you know what I mean, right now to how characters are introduced. Even a little blink in the missing moment where, well, Robert De Niro's in a phone booth, right? I was expecting him to just be smashing the phone, but he didn't do that. But one scene I noticed too was the callback to Taxi Driver, where you're seeing like on the bed, on Frank's bed, you're just seeing like a whole like set of guns now. It's just like, okay, which one
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
pick for this job? I was like, yeah, this is Taxi Driver. I love this, right? So it was great. But as a character, though, I love the fact that this is how he was portrayed there. He's not, because he's De Niro, right? He's not like overly violent and all that kind of stuff. He tries to be reasonable too. There's even like a great moment where he just tried to talk to Jimmy Hoffa like, yo, you don't understand. You're like, I tried to talk to you, I'm telling you. These people want to kill you. They're like, dog, just come on, like, you know what I mean? The way how he acts, like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
just stop there.
No,
And he's not
give it him.
without no
Think about that.
violence. I love that.
What I liked about it, here's what I like about it, because the way the frame, again, this was a nice little double for, again, it feels like if you're subverting his own films now.
Well,
So they
yeah,
frame it,
that's exactly what he's doing, actually. That's what I love
yeah,
about this movie.
yeah. So, again, Anti-Goodfellas, he framing it as Hoffa is a complete asshole and a douchebag and everything. And yeah, look, Hoffa wasn't catching the message. But at the same time, Hoffa was like, okay, so I have no way to counterfactual like that, that's this. And I don't think Hoffa was the nicest person ever or anything like that. And he was no angel. But
I don't think so either.
I could imagine a world where if Hoffa lived, it would have been better, right? He would have gone on to do some interesting politics. Again, you could debate left-wing politics or unions and labor and whatever it is. But, the idea of them making out this art, because ultimately it just kind of showed them to be hypocrites, right? It's like, oh, Hoffa is a short-sighted, selfish asshole. But he's getting in the way of me being a short-sighted, selfish asshole. But I'm trying to frame it as some kind of badassery and kind of thing. And that was Buffalino, right? Yeah. And I love what it did that way, especially coming down to the end when it's like, oh shit, like all of this kind of was pointless and for naught in the end.
Yeah. But what?
The big thing in the ending is that they never got back the pensions, right?
Oh yes.
Now, according to now this story, I had to look some researches after. Do you know what happened to the pensions? Ultimately?
No. What happened to the pensions?
Right. So from what I understand, it was found eventually. It was where the money was and how much, right? And basically the state took it. Giuliani, this was under Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani. He was mayor of New York at the time. And he just straight up gave it to Wall Street.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
That's all he went. So nobody was like these pensions. Remember, they say all of them die in poverty, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
Right. That is why. And it's like the pension's gone. Like, and it was a lot of cash, yeah? Build up a lot of cash. So even that now, it just all for naught. That's what make this so good. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
None of this so romantic at all, Judd.
Nah, but no, really, a show like this, you really have to like look up stuff afterwards, because that's just with the historical stuff, right? Because they go deep into history, and I like how they frame it in such a way that you could believe everything that we say about JFK and be a pigs and all that kind of stuff, but you also have to kind of go and do your research and really decide, okay, is this what really happened?
To be fair, it does, for me at least, it feels like the most plausible of the counter narratives to JFK, right?
Right.
It's to me. Right, it's much more plausible than the oligarchy of people who wanted to stop JFK from going in Vietnam. It's to me more plausible than a lot of out there other bullshit. But just the idea of or magic bullet or whatever it is, just the idea of the mob was. What's that?
No, I say the magic bullet, boy. Oh my god.
Yeah. No, but it's just more plausible in the sense of just look, it's just the mob wanted to get into Cuba. Like, that does make a lot of sense to me, right?
Yeah, and it does, yeah.
History of Jack Kennedy and what his father was about, and him having to cater to the mob in the days, and he's Irish Catholic. We got to get in. They kind of barely touch into that of him being Irish, and I thought they could have done more with that, however. Right. And because he wasn't like constantly reminded of his ethnicity or anything like that. It's like he's a fixer, and it's like they just get it fast enough. We know why he could speak Italian because of the stuff in the war. Oh, by the way, we could just mention the special effects in this was a little off at times, but overall it was brilliant.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Well, what I was going to say is, like, along with the historical stuff, I didn't even, I haven't started looking at it. I'm kind of free too, because I have a feeling that if I see how they do it, it might kind of make me, I don't know, it might just kind of remove the illusion from me believing the illusion. But yeah, the VFX too, in terms of the de-aging. What was mostly solid though. Like, I would say the first instance where you saw young De Niro, right? I was watching face, but I was like, okay, but why you're not moving? Like, you're not seeing movement. With his face, not a little worried about that. But then as Pesci's character came in, I was like, okay, now I get it. But it was really to the point though, like, no lie, where yeah, I was just into the story so much it didn't even
Right.
hit my mind like, oh, this is the agent, this is the agent. I was just deep in the story. So yeah, points for. And oh, by the way, it's Industrial Light and Magic.
Right.
All hail who do their job. When I saw them in the credits, like, well, word, okay, but
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one in the thing cost
I'll
money
say,
though.
yeah, I'll say, the only time it look off is again when that first moment him driving the truck, and then when he was in the war, they have a scene
Ah,
in the
yes,
memory.
yes, 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 yes.
Right,
That
and
scene,
it
yeah.
look a little off, but not as bad as Palpatine in Rogue. No, sorry, not Palpatine. Not as bad as Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One.
Yeah,
Not as bad as Carrie Fisher in Rogue One. Not as bad as that. But still, he was noticing some stuff, and it's to do with the eyes. Now the thing
yeah,
is that fed into the story. Yeah? I do think it's still a technical limiting and not a technical misstep, but it could have fed affecting the story because one thing about this is that they just kind of get into how much of a working sociopath, Frank Sheeran is, right?
yeah,
That dead eyes kind of don't give a fuck about anything until shit hit you too close to home,
yeah.
right? There's this complete lack of empathy that he have, and him having to like you don't see him sizing up to do anything. The only time stuff was really genuinely trying to affect him was the when he had to deal with Hoffa, right?
Yes,
And that was working for me. Everything else was just like, all right, well, yeah, I just had to do this. He in business, go ahead, dump the gun, move on with your life, like that stuff
exactly.
now. And that's why I didn't. It kind of served the story of the dead eyes now because the eyes, the motion of the eyes, and how it is moved.
Yeah,
It could have fed into that aspect of it now. So that I didn't really mind it. It was okay.
right. Okay, okay.
And
Yeah. Joe Pesci, yes. Great performance from Pesci, man. Just so against the caricature that we've given, that we gave him ever since Goodfellas. You know what I mean? Like that's your bitch, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. And that's not the character here, and it works perfectly for his character here. Cause yeah, he's not the type to flip out and get agitated and stuff like that. Because yeah, well,
exactly.
but the way how I saw it is basically is that he's even in the younger days, he always had this like old age aspect about him. So he's not the type who would just like flip out there. You know what I mean? Like that's not the type. But he would just kind of watch and observe, and then know certain things, and then talk to people about it, and then make
Yeah,
calls based off of that. I love that though. It was
yeah.
so
Just
against what you expect from
once he gets
him, but
mildly
it worked.
concerned. Yeah, once he gets mildly concerned.
Yeah, yeah. I did feel at times like I did see enough of Joe Pesci, but because I was trusting Scorsese, because the 3.5 hour film, right? You know what I mean? The moments where he was there, and there are quite a lot of moments with it, but I just felt that, like, I thought that he was like really like the supporting character to De Niro, right? But yeah, when he's there, he just shines on. I agree with you. He should get an Oscar nomination for this, though. But speaking of Oscar nominations, person to me, my favorite character, the person who stole this whole show for me, yes, Jimmy Hoffa, Al Pacino.
Yeah,
He came in,
yeah,
he killed it. He killed it. I wanted him to do. Cause you know what? One thing we love about Al Pacino, yeah, the man just flip out. He gets agitated. You're like, what? The cocksuckers, all that kind of stuff. I
yeah,
wanted that shit. And then when he came in, just for the moment he was just on that call, on that phone call with the Niro, I was like, yes, I loving this. I loving the makeup that they do it for him. It was so good to the point like I didn't even know what was the age and all that kind of stuff. Just the makeup that they do was
yeah, yeah.
perfect in my opinion, right? But yeah, and because I not too versed in all things 20th century American history, I don't really know that much about Hoffa, right? I know there was a movie
Right.
about Hoffa. I mean, he's a big deal. I know that he disappeared, all that kind of stuff. But what he brought to the table was great, and it wasn't in this exaggerated way. It was just like, yo, I am just so excited, and I want to do this thing. I want to be part of something. And now you have all these fools now who want to bring me down, and like, yo, what going on there? So the way how he reacts to things, I love though. I love the whole aspect of when you're reaching late to meetings. I don't like that, right? But one thing that I
Right.
really love though, and I don't want to spoil too much about it, is this idea that he kind of, well, this is what I suspect, right? He kind of anticipates that in a way, right? There's a scene involving him in his hotel room, and he kind of leaves the door just kind of slightly ajar, almost like
Yeah.
if anybody were to come in. And the funny thing is that the person who's protecting him is Frank, right? And you see literally by his bedside is a gun, right? It's almost like, you know what? If I wake up now and my killer turns out to be you, Dread, I want to see that person's face, right? I want to look that man in his eyes before he take my life away, right? And it's just such a powerful image, though. You know what I mean? And how well it kind of, it kind of comes back again. Not gonna say
Yeah.
where, but
Yeah.
it just adds a lot to the story. Just basically
Yeah.
this idea of, yeah, we doing this thing though, but yeah, that could come at any time. Though. It's just a question of who gonna be that person, who gonna pull that trigger. Though, you know what I mean? That kind of vibe. Though. So in between time, I just gonna do it as I had to do. I don't really care, but that's the vibe with him. Though. And yes, he is a dick. Yes, he is an asshole. But he's so yeah, and you have a lot of comedic moments with him too. But I love the seriousness about him. I love how to the point he is. Like, yeah, he just want to get the job done. He's believing he's doing a good job, but yeah, he working with people who get things done in in illegal ways and all that kind of stuff. And it's just
Right.
really kind of funny and heartbreaking when even a man like De Niro tell him, yo, they coming for you, Jen. It's like whatever, I don't care. But yeah,
Yeah.
totally love his performance though. Pacino killed it. He really it was Pacino just doing what Pacino does, but just once again though. You know what I mean? I just love seeing him on screen doing what he does best. And yeah, I rooted for him to get a Oscar now. But if it were up to me, if I had to choose between the three, big leads as to who could easily get a now, I would say Joe Pesci though, because yeah, that was a
Yeah. Yeah.
performance that you really
Definitely.
never really saw from him, or you don't really see from him in a long while. There, you know what I mean? Um, Supporting cast was great. Just the people that show the face. Harvey Keitel, and I want like though, just everybody came and do their thing. Harvey Keitel came and do his thing. Jesse Plemons do his
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Stephen
Yeah.
Graham
Yeah.
do his
Right.
thing. Dude,
Right.
Action Bronson. Action
Yeah.
Bronson came do his thing. He's a casket salesman. He just selling
Yeah.
caskets and he
Yeah.
killed it.
Yeah.
Like I
So
love that.
your girl from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, Orange is the Black, Dasha
Yeah.
Polanco. She do she
Yeah.
think, Jen. Everybody just come and just kill it, Jen. Like,
No, I like that. Okay, so you see, when you say that you don't know who Jimmy Hoffa was, that's a great moment with her because she kind of making fun of the
yeah,
fact
yeah,
that
yeah. Then you even
and
mentioned early on, like, yeah, only young people don't know
right.
who Jimmy Hoffa is and how big a deal of
What I
he
liked
is.
about what I liked about that is that yeah, in the end of the day, everything counts for nothing because he had no problem murdering somebody who's so close to him. And then like nobody know who it is. He can boast about it, and then he still double down and hold on, not confessing about it at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
the with the two agents now.
Yeah. Right. And last I want to say though, I love the third act though, like how it all came together, and to
Yeah,
me, just it's Scorsese just that scene that he's looking back at his films with pity, like, oh my god, why I make films like that? But no, this kind of once again, the whole Andy Goodfellas thing, like, yo, I'm
yeah,
older now, I'm wiser now. See which I said with Silence, another great movie
yeah,
from Scorsese, right? But in this case here, it's like, all right, I can't just do the gangster thing again. I know that's what people come to expect, but I'm older now. This is not the story I want to tell anyway. Goodfellas was Goodfellas. This is Irishman. This is a brand new story here. Familiar stuff, yes, but this is a brand new story here. And that's where I felt the third act really added a lot to the story here. Because without spoiling too much, yeah, you see characters get old, they get withered
yeah.
down. It's just like, yeah, all this is really
It
mean
had
shit.
one
You know what I mean? It's just
sad.
like,
It had one sad fucking moment when they mentioned where does the grape juice I like like jeez
oh yeah, boy, yeah, boy.
damn
And yeah, and I mean, on the one hand, you feel sorry for them, but at the same time, it's like,
right
yeah, that's just how it goes. Though. Like, you know what I mean? That's how this life is. It's either, you know what I mean, you live it out till you die anyway. You know what I mean? Police don't catch up to you or whatnot, or nobody kill you, or somebody kill you eventually, or yeah, people just kind of turn your back on you because you realize how much of a piece of shit you are, and you just kind of die alone, yeah, and your friends
yeah
die. You know what I mean? Either before, or after you, and then yeah, you looking back now like, yeah, what was the point of all this? Just to put food
yeah
on my family table. That was it, really. And yeah,
yeah
it
and
just really
it's
kind of
not
just
just
shows the
that because
hypocrisy of it all. Now, like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah, at
exactly
the time it was cool, yeah, I doing all this stuff, I making extra 10,000, like case in point, this great moment, this great scene involving this guy who doing this thing behind the mob's back, like paying Frank
right
to burn down this what was my
factory
this textile factory just
yeah
because, you know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, it's a little
and blind
10,000, just do the
juice
job,
all right.
guys. So to a man like Frank is like, yeah, it's easy money. I mean, and then I just coming home bringing food for my family. You don't need to know where I get the money from. You just appreciate what I'm doing for you, right? But still, the same time, I was like, yeah, but what was the point at the end of the day? You know what I mean? So I love
Yeah.
that too. That really brought everything together. Just thinking about it from like just Scorsese's filmography. It's really mature though. This really,
Yeah.
well thought out there. And I would say this is probably the most mature of his crime films, right? It's not
Right.
glamorous like Casino or Goodfellas. You know what I mean? It's more thought out, way more self-aware, I would say, in my opinion, though, and really makes for a just a overall great film, though. So let's jump into rating one time. So yeah, I mean, what more can we say? This is hands down one of the best movies of 2019, and I would say of the decade. Yes, folks, this makes it to the list. Um,
Okay.
I
Right.
can't say between 1 to 15. I can't say right now. Yeah, I mean, I have this. I have Wolf of Wall Street. I have Silence. I,
Right.
it just have so much to pick from. Yes, three, so much, right? But yeah, I really, really dug this. Even it while it isn't a perfect, flawless movie, and I wouldn't say it's a classic as yet. I mean, the movie like just came out, right? But yeah, I do see this being one that I will rewatch, and not just because on Netflix, because I'm hoping one day it comes out on Blu-ray and I can just buy this and watch all the behind the scenes goodness. But yeah, this is just well thought out, well planned out, well executed filmmaking, and this really shows why Scorsese is just amongst the greatest just ever. You know what I mean, in terms of directing. So rating wise, I go in high with this, decent to a strong 4.5 out of 5. This is an absolute must see. If you're a Scorsese fan, you have to watch this. I don't care. Oh, but it's 3.5 hours. I don't know. No, watch it. It's Netflix, right? So you have no excuse. And because it's Netflix, by the way, you can kind of pause the show and get some water and use the bathroom and come back, right? It's Netflix, right? But I would say it works better here, just in terms of the length as opposed to being on the big screen. Because I don't know, I just felt like I just think that on big screen people might really take it that well. They might kind of get bored but at some points, and might just take down a few points or a few stars because it's so long now. But because of the Netflix format, it works well just in telling the story. We could debate from now till Thy Kingdom Come whether it needed to be that long, but I don't know. That's a debate we could talk about for years to come. But yes, this is hands down one of his best films. I would not say it is the greatest thing he ever made in his life, but once again, that's up to debate. But yes, Scorsese still has it in him. And just the mere fact that he was able to get these great actors and just draw just fantastic performances from them, just Oscar caliber performances from them, just really shows how great of a filmmaker he is. Say what you want about what you see about MCU, man. I mean, Scorsese's truth, man, and this is just proof of that. So, yeah, decent to a strong 4.5 out of 5, top 5 for me, one of the best in the decade in my opinion. So, final thoughts and rating.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's a 8 out of 10. I really loved it as well. It's a lot of it works for me. It flows really, really well. Although it had some pacing issues here or there. But yeah, I love that they did the anti Goodfellas thing. It's just so good. Again, holy shit, Joe Pesci.
I know, boy.
Come
I know.
on,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah. Rooted for him right now to get an Oscar nom, Jed. If
For
if
real, eh?
if 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 even Pacino gets a nomination, I'll be happy. But Joe, boy, Joe,
Yeah.
just because he was out of the game for so long, he still come back and kill it. Give Joe a nom now. Give Joe a nom. You know what I mean? And yeah, boy, Netflix on a roll here though because yeah, you know what I mean. They really just plant the flag with Roma this year, which by the way is
Yeah.
coming out next year on the Criterion Collection. But yeah, boy, yeah, Netflix is a force to be reckoned with now. So yes, I am expecting Irishman to be nominated for a ton of awards, Academy Awards and otherwise as well. And yeah, who knows? It could maybe win a Best Picture. Who knows? Or at least be nominated. I'll be happy if it gets nominated for that. But we'll see. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not much else to say. We cannot cover everything. I just didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did. Just really, really, really well done. Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah, and well, this last thing I would say, and then I'll jump into the next show. I watched this for Thanksgiving. I know we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in Trinidad here, but yeah, I just sat down, checked it out. Took me about a 4 hours because I had to pause to do things. But yeah, that made my Thanksgiving. That made Thanksgiving 2019 for me. Just watching The Irishman on Netflix, right? So just as a slight little detour here. Now we're gonna go into Knives Out, which is like the how people kind of talk. It's like, oh, for Thanksgiving weekend. Well, yes, I know that's last weekend, right? This is the one show you could go and check out. That and I guess Frozen too. But we flipped a coin and we picked Knives Out, right? So what is Knives Out about? Basically, it is a mystery film, or a murder mystery, actually, right?
Right.
And right off the bat, I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan of murder mysteries. I can't really see, well, I guess you could say Gone Girl is one, kind of. But in
Right.
terms of like the who done it, right? Like I would not say that I have seen a lot. I actually have not seen Clue, believe it or not. I know, right?
Okay.
You never watched Clue? I know. I just never got around to it, right? There's this lots of ET shows that I just didn't watch because never grew up on them. I didn't know the big deal about them till like after the fact. Now. So like apparently Clue is a classic and Tim Curry was great in it. I really should check it out. But yeah, I really don't know a lot. I haven't seen a lot of whodunits, right? I know some of the great ones, you know what I mean? But I just haven't. I would say I'm a fan of those, right? Or I know a lot about them, right? And I guess if you know about them, that could make you or break your enjoyment of Knives Out. But yeah, this is the
Yeah.
latest film from director Rian Johnson. You know what I mean? The guy of the critically divisive Star Wars:
Right.
The Last Jedi, which is a movie that I still defend and probably will
Yeah.
defend to my dying day. I don't care what new YouTube video comes out saying, well, The Last Jedi is bad and this is why.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I am, and well, of course, the time travel movie.
Yes, Looper, right?
Look
Which
what
is a movie that I remember enjoying back when it was 2011. I think it was when it came out. But no, 2011 or
Yes.
2012. I'll never
Yes.
forget. I'll never forget, right? First time I ever met you, Ricardo, you were debunking all the theories of
Right.
Looper. And
No, but
let's talk about Looper for a minute, right? Just quickly, right? The main thing about it, which still back then I kinda like, but now it don't make sense. This the idea that, oh, all right, I'm in the future, I'm gonna go in the past, I'm gonna kill my past self. And because I grew up with the Back to the Future notion of time travel, I assume when you go into the past and you kill yourself, you die. You cease to exist. But apparently you could travel from the future to the past, kill your past self, and still live. Okay. That's kind of
right.
weird, but
No,
yeah, you're talking about Looper.
here's the thing, eh? I no something about Looper, and I do defend a lot of Looper. To be fair,
Right.
but the thing with it is that Ryan Johnson, to me, proves that you don't have to have good logic to make a good film. That's the most important part. He's
Right.
a
Yeah.
visual filmmaker, know how to tell a story in such a way where you could get you to think about it in this way or the other. And that's why you'll enjoy yourself on watching it. That's how I see him. Right? So when I heard I remember that when he was going to do when they announced he was going to do Last Jedi, I like, oh shit, that kind of make perfect sense because it's not about hard logic. I remember the force is all kind of magicy anyway. So he
Yeah.
would have fit for it. And so said, so done. I was like, that's exactly what we got. It's a movie that don't really make much sense. The strategy of it don't make sense. Like a whole bunch of shit about the film that don't make sense, but it still work. Like in my opinion, it still work at least. So
Yeah.
that's how I see the movie. However,
Right. But yeah, as far as Looper goes, I only saw that show once, to be honest. Maybe if I watch it again, I mean, just like last night, I may not like it as much, but I don't know. But yeah, you're right as far as Ryan Johnson's talent, what I mean, for writing goes, right?
right,
But yeah, I think that he does put out great films. Case in point, his debut feature, Brick, which a lot of people kind of
right,
compare it to because, well, yeah, he's kind of reviving this, long lost genre of the whodunit, right? It's similar to the neo noir genre that he revitalized with Brick, right? So yeah,
right.
I mean, you don't see movies like this out there. You don't see, well, I guess with the extent of last year's Murder on the Orient Express, which I heard was as good as all that, which is the reason why I didn't see it. Not because I'm not a fan of the whodunit genre, but I just heard that it was all that good. But yeah, so what is Knives Out about? If you just want to just run through the premise, please, without
Right.
spoiling much, because yeah, the beauty
Well,
of it
okay,
is
so
what we
the,
do
the
expect
patriarch of the patriarch of the oh gosh, I forget any family name.
of the Trombi
Trump
family.
family, right?
Right.
Played by
Yeah,
Mr.
Christopher
Nazi,
Plummer.
yeah, Mr. Nazi Rippin Flag himself,
Yes,
Christopher
yes, yes,
Plummer.
yes.
Um, he's king of the family, and basically you have to figure out. Somebody calls a couple of detectives, and to basically solve the case. And slowly but surely, we get the whodunit, and
Yes.
they do a good enough job with it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to think. But the family is a terrible family because a bunch of rich brat children,
Yes.
and
Yes. Yes.
they get into the back and forth of all these rich brat children and who getting what and why and resources and money and so on. So it's not truly. I okay. So just quickly start the review now.
Yeah.
Not
Sure.
truly, not truly mind blowing as a reveal or who done it, but I thought it was good. You know, um, execution overall. Pretty good actually.
I would agree. I would agree. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting the
I did.
moment. Like I was
Yeah,
expecting, oh my
I
god, moment, but
yes.
it's not there. And then when you think about it, that's really not the
Yeah,
point of the show. It's really
right.
not.
I did guess the who done it,
Me
but
too. Me too.
what I got wrong was the how and the why. Right.
Same here. Same here. Same here.
Right. That's pretty much what happened. So I guess the right answer, but I had the wrong. As they say, show you're working, right? I didn't have that. So I thought it was well done in terms of that part, and that's the part that matters, right? That's the part that everybody care about. You're wondering the who, that's not that interesting, but when is the how and the why, and once you give a good how and a why, that's the story. And everybody was good in this.
Yes.
And it's actually pretty
Yes.
funny and hilarious. Michael Shannon, absolutely hilarious in this. I
Oh
loved him in
yes.
this.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Um,
He was
Chris
such
Evans
a
was
so
great in
this
this.
way, but oh my god, he
Yeah,
was funny. He was funny.
yeah. Chris Evans was
Uh,
great in
yeah, Chris Evans. He
funny.
his name is Well, his middle name somebody is Ransom. I'm like, wow, but
Yeah.
like that's what you gotta call
Like,
your child, man. Like, come on.
and
But yeah,
I
he was
forget.
great in that actually. He was
Yeah, I
so
forget
like
how funny.
against
Forget.
his he was so against his sort of goody two shoes, persona that he has, what I mean, behind the scenes basically. So like that, yes,
Yeah,
he was a dick, but it was funny seeing him play that. It was
yeah.
really cool.
And I was pretty. I forget how funny Chris Evans could be because I was a big fan of his humor stuff, even from the days of with his not another teen movie, right? I thought he was
Yeah,
he was
he
pretty
was in
funny.
that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I forgot
And
that.
he,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
and
Wow.
he when that. And I like his humor, and even in that movie, dotish and silly, but he had some
Oh,
great comedy beats, and he was great in this.
oh,
He's
that
such an
movie was
asshole,
really, really dumb though. But yeah, yeah.
right?
He does show his comedic side here. I would say the same thing too with Daniel Craig though. Like I didn't expect
Right,
him to be funny. And one thing have
right.
this kind of like really cliche kind of southern accent. Like, yeah, I'm gonna investigate this. That kind of vibe though. But
Right.
just
Um,
seeing James Bond do
yeah,
that voice too was hilarious. I love that.
right. Small bit parts. I liked Lucky Stanfield was good in this. I think he
Yeah,
held his
although I would admit that they could have given him a little bit more to do, but I like
right.
him as this the straight
Right.
edge, detective
Exactly.
just trying to
Right.
figure out
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah, I thought he was good. He played strong. He held himself against actors a bit that above him. He's a new guy now, and I thought he held himself. That's fine. And then
Yeah.
let's start the story. Anna de Armas. I thought she was great in this.
Oh yes,
Like,
yes, 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 yes. And
absolutely
I
great in
mean,
this.
I just kind of like look at it, just see it.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
But
yeah,
she was.
but yeah, I did not expect that she would be such a integral character to the story, though. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, and well, yeah, for those who don't know, she also was in Blade Runner 2049. I mean, I
Right,
love
right.
her character there, but yeah, though, I did not expect that she would have such big, you know, uh, deal in the story and such a big role to play. Then I thought that she just knocked it out the park, though. Just hoping that she gets bigger roles where she could really showcase her talent there. But yeah, as
Yeah.
far as like just what they do with her character, it was great. Some people might not like the political stance that they go with it, but I thought it was just like a
I
kind
thought
of
that
like modern
was
kind of
fine.
unique twist. Like, oh well, you think, oh, this person will be kind of just unaware of all these shenanigans that going on with this dysfunctional family. Actually no, she's aware of all this, but just how she deals with it, how she reacts to it. That's all you'll see. We just made for some great moments, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Daniel Craig and Anna de Armas, they are going to be in the upcoming James Bond film No Time to Die, which is supposed to be
Okay.
Daniel
Okay. Cool.
Craig's final appearance as James
But,
Bond.
right.
Great.
Cool.
Can't wait for that, right? And in Jamaica, so cool. I want to see what they shoot there now. But yeah, go on.
No, yeah. Well, there's nothing to talk about. It's a whodunit. I mean, other than we have to talk about just everybody and all the little bit parts. Like
Yeah.
you can play the Airy Fairy sister. She was funny. Oh gosh.
Oh, Tony
Who played
Collette.
Toni Collette? Right.
Yeah.
She was the Airy Fairy sister.
Yeah. I
She was
was
pretty cool.
loving Tony Collette in this too. She was so funny.
Yeah.
She was so
Yeah.
like just kind of watching. All I like though is just the first moment when she meets Daniel Craig's character. Like just kind of just watch him like, yeah, no, you full of shit to the man. Just want to make you out there. I love that. Jamie Lee
Yeah.
Curtis, I thought she was great as well.
Right.
That
She was the mom.
I
Yeah.
like the just the contrast between her and Tony's characters as well. McGill, Catherine Langford was in this. I felt they could have done more to her. Actually, she was just the granddaughter. They just keep kind of
Right.
poking fun of her being this kind of feminist and all that kind of stuff. But I felt that like I felt like the younger kids like her and this guy Jane Martell, right, who you remember from the It films, right? Yeah, I felt
Right.
that they could have given them more to do than just be, oh well, my parents and grandparents just bickering, so I'll just go on my phone, which literally he does show the entire TV show. I just be on my phone and just kind of watch everybody all stuck up, right? That's what I felt they gave the characters. And I wish I could have done a little bit more out of them because it was just so not about what the parents and grandparents doing. Let's say that they should be, suspected of the murder, but at the same time, it's like maybe they had something to play with it somehow. Like, okay, you have the whole family involved, including the oldest member being Christopher Plummer's mother. Well, not real mother, of course, but in the film. And I kind of just thought like everybody had some kind of part to play, but it was just really well Tony Collette and Don Johnson. Yes, Don Johnson's in this as well too. He was funny as well.
Right. Right.
Michael Shannon and just the big players. Like it was just really
Yeah.
about them and not so much about the kids there. But
Right.
one
Jimmy
thing
Lee.
that caught me by surprise though was well, without revealing stuff, is like how the film itself kind of makes you believe, oh well, we're gonna show you what happened, like how this guy got killed at the
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
end.
They do the
And they
do the
don't do that; they kind of flip it.
yeah.
But then
They
at
do
the
the
same time,
Columbo
it's like,
thing.
yeah, they do the Columbo thing, but at the same time, it's like,
Right.
wait, so all right, but the movie's still going on, so that means something else going on, and then how they kind of tie
Right.
that up, like, oh, well, this is what went, this is kind of like what led up to it, kind of in a way, and then you really see who's behind it somewhat. It's like, oh, okay, I get that, but then in the process, though, and for some people that might be a letdown. I know for some people it was a letdown. You kind of know who it is now. Okay, just kind of opens it out there. Just like, oh well, yeah, I can kind of see who the person, who the real suspect is, right? And yeah, like you, I saw it, but I saw that person coming like a mile away. But I was just kind of wondering, the how and the why, basically. And then when I got there, I was like, all right, I could live with this. And then the moment, but still, you would have
Right.
got that if you really saw what went down, instead of because you kind of spoiled it, quote unquote, intentionally. It kind of lessens down on that, but at the same time, it's like, oh, well, this is really what went down because of that. And I thought that was really cool. It's a very brave and bold call by Ryan, but I know for some people who kind of like the who done it, in the traditional sense, you be like, yeah, but you kind of spoil it for me, you know what I mean? I know that will be for some people. For
No,
me, I was just
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm entertained by this, and because the actors just, you could tell they're having fun. You could tell all of them just having
Right.
fun with the show.
And as I said
I was just
again,
buying
is
it.
the how and the why is the big secret. Like you have to know how to do the how and the why behind the real agency of the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. They did
And
that.
yeah, last I would say just as far as gripes go, because they're going for this comedic route and because yeah, it's a PG-13 film,
Yeah, it's funny.
it wasn't as tense as I kind of expected it to be. Like I wanted to be like a suspense comedy, really. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
where you really want to know what's gonna happen next, right? But this one was just like kind of like an old-fashioned murder mystery stuff, but they just kind of flip it and they just use it to do some really cool, modern things, especially with Anna de Armas's character. I thought that was really cool. But still, at the
Right.
same time, I was like, I don't know, like I kind of wanted to come out of it feel like, yeah, this thing had me on the edge of my seat, somewhat. You know what I mean? Like I felt the tension. And there is tension, but like when I was there, I was like, yeah, not really feeling the tension all that much, really. You know what I mean? And not just because they kind of sell out what happened, but just because of the tone of it. You know what I mean? Because they're going for this kind of comedic kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of slightly awkward kind of tone, especially with how the characters move and act around each other and stuff like that, you know. But still, I was entertained throughout. And you know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Just supposed to entertain it. That's really the gist of the story. And I thought that, yeah, the film really pulled it off. Just kind of
Yeah.
wanted to get the really feel the tense moments that you'd expect from, well, yeah, a murder mystery, right? So yeah. But yeah, as far as rating goes, I would give this. I like 4 out of 5, man. This is actually I would recommend. This is actually worth seeing on the big screen. I saw it with a really decent enough size audience, and they were invested in the story as much as
Yeah.
invested in the film as I am. They were laughing. I was laughing along with them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We were, you know, we kind of like, oh my god, and we all that kind of stuff. We were on board. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'd imagine when you go in and you see this, you will get on board. You will be invested in the story and just where it goes. And yeah, just the mere fact that it doesn't go the way that you expected is really great, really subversive. I like that about Rian Johnson's films for the most part. Yeah, but I guess if you're expecting the whole traditional whodunit, you might be like, why you sell this out for? Why am I not really feeling the tension? Why am I not like guessing to the very end? You know what I mean? That kind of vibe. But still, once again, that's not what you're going for. But I like the aesthetic of it. I love the tone. I even love the music. The cinematography was great. Some great interior shots, which remind me a lot of Ready or Not, which once again was about this really weird dysfunctional family too, right? So that was great. But yeah, this was a decent enough film. Not a great film. I wouldn't say this is top 10 for me, but I do see this as an honorable mention as far as best movies of this year goes. But yeah, if you're looking for something to check out, just some escapist cinema that you'll have fun with, yeah, give Knives Out a look, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I in line with you. I give it I give it a movie tongue. You
All right.
know, solid. Again, I guess some things, but I didn't get the other things, and I was just thoroughly entertained with the performances, the humor, and just, solid filmmaking overall.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, like I know that clearly Johnson was inspired by the classic films, right? Like the Gosford Parks and Clue and all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
But I don't know, like in my head, I was telling myself like, okay, like he just tried to make the next best, murder mystery film. But thinking about it now, I don't think that was the point. It was just, all right, this is a genre clearly that I love. I just gonna have fun with it. That's all. I'm not trying to make a classic here, but I just want to make something really fun and kind of lighthearted as far as that genre goes. And yeah, I thought that he pulled it off, man. But I hope with this one here, we like, especially with me, I do seek out those films, the Gosford Park, the Murder on the Orient Express, the original remakes. I'll actually
Right.
kind of delve into the whodunit subgenre a little bit more and just learn about it. Thanks for the show here. Any last words on Knives Out, or that's it?
No, no, not really. I mean, it just was just a good. Everything had a nice payoff to everything. I think it's just solid, smart film, solid script. I thought funny again, funny and clever. Especially that last thing and what Knives Out really means. I like that. But everything had a nice payoff to everything.
Yeah. All right, cool.